Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you are all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. We are back with our mini-series on the channel with how viable is Control in the historic meta, but we're mixing it up a little bit today because Brad Barclay has just won the Zendikar Rising Championship. I don't know if anyone else caught that, but I certainly watched it, with his Azorius Control list. And if you're like me and you are a Control fan, you know it has been so long since a Control list of any sort won a large-scale tournament. So it's fantastic to see it coming home and some Control taking the spotlight for a change. Yeah, I don't know how long that's been. Just to let you know, I'm not going to do any deck tech today because it's not my list and I wouldn't do it any justice. If you want that, I'm sure you can go find that out on someone else's channel, or there'll be a list up somewhere with a deck guide for that. We're going to play 5 games back to back in a row just to see how the list does on the ladder. I'm only in Platinum, so hopefully we're going to get some good games, but I'm not in Mythic, so might not be an accurate representation, but we'll see how good it is to climb. And FYI, I am not the best Control player in the world. I give it my best, and I love playing the archetype, but I am not on Brad's level. I am not winning a Zendikar Rising Championship, so we'll do what we can do. We'll have some fun with it, but constructive feedback and criticism is always welcome, so throw that down in the comments below. And yeah, the timestamps are also down there, so if you want to skip ahead to certain games, go ahead and do that, and I'll catch you again at the end with the wrap-up. On the play with Azorius Control, and yeah, let's keep this. Tons of lands, search Azcanta. Censor, we'll see what we're against. Mountain, okay, Goblins. Probably just going to get down this search. I guess search isn't going to be very valuable. I guess we could dig for our board wipes. And we have absorb for next turn to get that Muxus. Okay, Krenko is going to be a bit of an issue, especially since Conspicuous Snoop in upkeep can activate the Krenko ability. So probably got to graveyard this, looking for some removal. No removal. I don't think we want to dig with Censor. I think we're going to have to hold up the absorb for Muxus. So if our opponent doesn't go for it, they could have upkeep activated the Conspicuous Snoop to get 2 additional Goblins. And then that's like 2 mana they're generating with Skirt Prospector. Just gonna go for the Matron. Do we just absorb this? I don't think so. I think we try and counter what they grab with it. Finding one of our 2 cages would be really good. Okay, so just gonna have to take the damage here. Opponent doesn't want to run the Skirt Prospector into a potential Shark Typhoon, I'd imagine. Okay, so board wipes pretty good. Yeah, we'll keep this. This is good for Krenko. And I think we're just going to do this now. Get our value. Skirt Prospector won't be able to ram for our opponent as much. And if they just tap down for Krenko here, we can Teferi tuck it. War Chief. Second Teferi. I think we want to graveyard this. So, are we looking at just countering the Krenko or the Muxus? We can't Teferi and do anything. I think we just need to pass here. I think we have to answer this. We could cast out the Goblin War Chief in response. And then next turn we get to Teferi, tick up, have absorb. Our opponent has Krenko, but they can't kill our Teferi of Krenko alone. Maybe we just do that. And unless our opponent has land other haste enabler, then we're okay. Oh, there's a land. Oh, and it's just a Matron. So they still won't be able to kill Teferi. They go grab the second Muxus. From graveyard. Can't afford to board wipe here, since we need to hold up a counter spell at the same time, and next time we'll be able to. So we have an answer to one of the Muxes, and hopefully our Teferi will survive. And if Teferi survives, we're in a good position to Wrath next turn. I guess our opponent's going to have a chance to resolve Muxus unless we find another counter spell. I think we have to stop this. Puts us in a bad position for this Muxus though. Couldn't really let the haste enabler resolve. A graveyard that. Let's transform. Okay, Censor. So if our opponent doesn't have a land, Censor actually does it. But let's tick up first. Cast out. So do we Wrath of God and then cut when our opponent Krenkos, we can either Censor if they don't have a land. If they do have a land, then we could cast out the haste enabler if they get one, and then hopefully dig for a third board wipe. And we still want more lands since we have Search for Azcanta. Let's see, we're not in a great situation. If we can find a cage, I think we're okay. Okay, so we got really fortunate there. And now we get to, yeah, now we get to activate Teferi. Our opponent even had the land. Do we just want to dig for cage? I think we do. Baffling End, not great. Absorb's really good. Pretty happy with that. But now we get to double activate Search for Azcanta. No cage. But we have the Absorb for the second Muxus, so I'm suddenly liking our position. Could have untapped Castle Wild and Vale, but we are definitely absorbing this Muxus. And now, yeah, our opponent's going to scoop it up there. Okay, so navigated that okay, I think. Double Muxus, Krenko. What do we want in this matchup? I think this is relatively difficult to sideboard against. So, if we're going to follow Brad the best we could, I can't remember how we sideboarded. I think we want the additional board wipe. I think we want Essence Scatter since it hits all of our opponent's threats. I don't think Censor's very good. I think Seal Away is like too late. Aether Gust is okay. Disdainful Stroke hits all of our opponents like key threats. I have a feeling Narset's not that good in this matchup. I don't think Baffling End's good. If we're bringing in the additional Baffling End, then we wouldn't be bringing in the Disdainful Stroke. I guess Baffling End hits their haste enablers, but we're bringing in like an additional board wipe. Don't think we'll, obviously don't want vetoes, don't want mystical disputes. I don't think we want timely reinforcement since our plan is to wipe the board. Yeah, Grafdigger's Cage is going to be one of our better cards in this matchup. Maybe we just cut one of our Baffling Ends, since we still want some number of Censors. Maybe it's correct to cut and absorb and bring in a Censor on the draw, since turn 3 Muxus, this cannot stop. On the draw now, I think we're going to keep this. I think Cage enough is a reason to keep, shutting down like half of our opponent's threats. And let's still get Farmland down. I think we just get down another one. Maybe we're supposed to hold them to cycle. Okay, War Chief. So, board wipe going to be essential. So Absorb here is going to be okay. Cast Out can hopefully take this War Chief away. I think I like just countering that, stopping our opponent, getting some card advantage. It depends if our out is to draw board wipe, just to answer this. We're going to be, what, taking 5 this turn? I think I'd rather just keep our life total a bit healthier. Since the threat we kind of got to worry about now is Krenko, and Krenko will require a board wipe. I guess they could go Krenko here. Okay, Trashmaster. I guess they have an answer to the cage. So something we really should have watched out for. Got the slip on us. So there's not really going to be any way to stop this Goblin Trashmaster now. So probably should have held the Absorb for that. Yeah, I guess since our opponent couldn't cast cards off the top of their library anyway because of the cage. Something we got to watch out for in the next match. They're watching out for a settle. No. So we're going to target the Trashmaster, since it's like an Anthem effect. But they're going to blow up the cage in response. They lose like 5 power on the board here. 5, 6, 7 power actually. Switches on their Conspicuous Snoop as well. So yeah, plans is going to be Shark Typhoon, try and eat this Conspicuous Snoop. Got really fortunate our opponent has a land. Poor Ringleader. Oh, it's got pretty lucky there. And that there's not another Goblin on top. We're just going to try and eat this Conspicuous Snoop on attacks. Or do we go for the War Chief? Opponent's choosing not to attack. We're still going to cycle here. It's interesting whether we like cycle for 1 and cycle for none to try and find a board wipe. We can cycle for 3. I think we're just sitting back. We can double cycle for 1 if we need to. Okay, opponent's getting quite unfortunate with the Conspicuous Snoop with what's on top. One card in hand. Yeah, I think we'll just cycle for 4. Okay, do we take their haste enabler away or do we take the Conspicuous Snoop? I think the answer is the Conspicuous Snoop, since we know our opponent's not drawing an extra card this turn. So the Goblin War Chief shouldn't be an issue. Just want to stop our opponent getting some card advantage here. We're going to try and close the game with Sharks. And we'll attack for 4. I guess attacking for 3 is better, since our opponent can activate the Castle Embereth on the way back, but the 4 power Shark won't trade. So I think ultimately the countering of the Conspicuous Snoop originally was a mistake, since it allowed the Trash Master to resolve. Opponent's not going for it. We're going to cycle and make a 3-3. Hopefully going to close this game. Is that all of our Shark Typhoons? 3 of them gone. Okay, is Teferi just going to lock away this game now? So if we attack for 4... If we attack for 4, we have them dead next turn. Is that right? We have 10 power on the board. So we play Teferi, attack for 4, tick up Teferi, we get to absorb. And our opponent needs 2 relevant threats. I guess actually we can just tuck the Goblin War Chief. That's just better, isn't it? And then our opponent needs to find a haste enabler as well. And then we attack for 4, and then next turn we have them dead. Our opponent needs a removal spell here. So they didn't draw an extra card as well. So our opponent's got to get out of here. Our opponent had like a fairly good draw. They got unlucky with the Conspicuous Snoop. Problem is we have the absorb. I guess if they have the cycling goblin, they can get around this. But yeah, we just counter that. And that should be game. On a nice healthy 11. And yeah, even if our opponent just attacks Teferi here, we can just yeah, it's a good game. Oh. So made a few mistakes there, but managed to ultimately come through. Okay, on the play with Azorius Control, and yeah, we're going to keep this. All of our lands, we can go search Azcanta, Baffling End. Tis all good. Yeah, let's just get the Search for Azcanta down. We don't know what our opponent's playing at the moment. We don't really want this being fort seized. And if our opponent's on Sultai or 4 color, then Search for Azcanta is going to be really good. Okay, Mountain. Is this more Goblins? Okay, no. Dreadhorde Butcher. So, just Baffling Ending that looks really good. I guess that's fine. Allows us to dig for something relevant. And in this matchup, if our opponent's on like Hasters or just sort of a really aggressive build, then preserving our life total is going to be of the utmost importance. Woe Strider. So not too scared of the Woe Strider. I think we're just holding on to cast out at the moment. I mean, Shark Typhoon allows us to hit our land drop, allows us to hold up the others as well. I'm probably going to keep this. Just going to pass here with all of our options open. Don't really want to tap down for a Narset when we can't do anything else. And I think we will trade for this Woe Strider. Escape is 4. Shark Typhoon is just so good. This will give our opponent an opportunity to use like a Fatal Push or Eliminate if they have some, since I'd imagine they'll be dead in the matchup otherwise. Also puts an extra card in the graveyard for the Woe Strider. Yeah, and we will just, yeah, we'll just trade here. So our opponent can be on like Rakdos, like Sacrifice. Could have some ping effects, second Woe Strider. So I don't know how relevant this Aether Gust is going to be. Maybe we keep it so we can Narset or Disdainful Stroke / Aether Gust. So if our opponent plays a 3-drop or less that's black with haste, then we'll have an issue. I think it's fine to keep this. Go digging. Gives us some like options as to what we want to do. Narset's gonna die, unfortunately. We'll take an absorb. We'll take an absorb. But it's an extra card, it's cycled, buys us a little bit of life, and gets us further to flipping our search for Azcanta. Which, yeah, our opponent's going to really struggle to answer in this matchup. So probably just want to, since that deals damage to any target, let's just put that back on top. So happy we kept the Aether Gust. And next turn we can just absorb plus Disdainful Stroke if that's what we want to do.
My mind needs a rest.
Okay, Priest. Priest is good. Yeah, let's keep lands. So I don't think we're going to want Disdainful Stroke plus Cast Out, so we'll just play this tapped. And we're just gonna look at absorbing this Mayhem Devil. And then I think like we're just gonna be digging for a board wipe. Priest, not that great against Azorius. You really want to be utilizing every mode on the Priest. And our opponent is 2 cards away from escaping the other Woe Strider. Do you want to cycle this Cast Out? Just get us closer to flipping Search for Azcanta. Cast Out doesn't feel that relevant. We'd rather have a board wipe. Let's just cycle it. Baffling End. I think I like a Baffling End. What are we getting rid of here? Probably the Woe Strider. And then probably just activating Castle. Dig us towards something relevant. Opponent's going to activate Priest. Priest is just a lot less threatening. Just does a lot less damage overall. And then, yeah, we'll just activate Castle. Or we have Disdainful Stroke. If we do get to fire off the Disdainful Stroke, then we can flip Search for Azcanta. Cannot stroke that. Cannot stroke that as well. Opponent's just going to hit us for 1. So we're getting close to turning the corner here. Our opponent's been run out of cards. We have our card advantage set up. I think I just like a Baffling End again. Our opponent gets to sacrifice the Mayhem Devil in response. Do we just keep Baffling End? And then we just get to like repeat the last turn again. Just activate Castle Vantress, dig a bit deeper. Opponent gets to make a food token here. So we're kind of scared of like cat combo. We need to find our Grafdigger's Cage. We've gone through all of our Baffling Ends now. We do have 4 board wipes left. Teferi, Shark Typhoon. So we've got some stuff we can do. Opponent has a castle, so they might be able to outdraw us. So yeah, really hoping to find a board wipe. Okay, this is going to have haste. So taking 6 here, so we do need to find something relevant. But our opponent's out of gas. Okay, opponent's just attacking for 5. I guess they want to leave priest activation up. Makes sense. Ultimately, it does more damage. And they get a card out of it. Okay, I think Wrath of God is exactly what we want. So yeah, we fall to 8 here. Our opponent gets to draw an extra card. We do have the Disdainful Stroke for something else that our opponent has. But we haven't really seen anything with a high CMC at the moment. So Disdainful Stroke doesn't feel too good. So our opponent gets to get some like value off their board before they sack it all. But ultimately we have to do this. And then hopefully Search for Azcanta is going to transform in the next turn. This Disdainful Stroke's just sort of rotted away in our hands though. And here's the Cauldron Familiar combo. Opponent gets to draw some extra cards as well. Yeah. They can also sacrifice the cat for mana and then get it back because they already have food tokens. Yeah, gonna graveyard that and transform. Absorb. I think let's go digging. If we hit Cage here, let's go for the extra absorb. Gonna hope to buffer our life total a little bit. But yeah, if we can find Cage, then we can shut down the cat combo, and then I feel like we're okay. But this is still quite threatening. Yeah, opponent can drain us quite a bit here. Unfortunately, they're not casting this as well. They're just returning this. Are we just dead? They attack us down to 4, sack, 3, 2. I think we're falling to like 2 here. 2 or 1. Opponent's going to dig for something. Absorb is not what we want to see. So I need to hit Cage here. Fortunately, no Cage. Let's cycle. No, unfortunately. I think that's going to be game. So we dug quite deep. We have 2 cages left. Yeah, opponent can return. We go to, yeah, opponent just got this. Let's concede. Okay, so feels unfortunate. We got stuck with a Disdainful Stroke in hand. That is almost certainly coming out. Let's take out a Disdainful Stroke. Probably want the Baffling End. I feel like timely reinforcements might be okay. What do we want to cut? Do you want like Seal Aways? Essence Scatter? I feel like we might want timely reinforcements. So if our opponent's doing the cat combo, then timely's not going to be that great, but it's going to buy us quite a bit of time with like life total. Let's bring it in. I don't feel cast out's like that good. We're sort of subsidizing the cast out with the Baffling End. Maybe like cut like a Censor for the Shatter. We saw there the like Wrath of God wasn't particularly good since our opponent could sacrifice the whole board for value, but we still had to wipe our opponent's board. So I think they are necessary. And apart from Woe Strider, I don't know if our opponent's got a way to draw a card off of this. But probably just going to run it like that. The Essence Scatter is the only other thing that I can consider putting in. Maybe Seal Away, but I feel like Baffling Ends are just going to be enough here. Okay, on the play, and we have a Grafdigger's Cage. We're just going to hope that our opponent doesn't have a Abrade. And definitely going to lead on Cage, so our opponent can't force Caesar out of our hand. So if our opponent has brought in Abrade or left in Abrade, it's entirely for Cage. And it's going to be dead in their hand at any other point. But yeah, Cage is going to be quite good here, I think. Really glad we're on the play. Yeah, let's just... I think we just discard a land here. I'd much rather Aether Gust this when they're returning it. Don't really want to cycle Shark Typhoon for 1. So our opponent's missing land drops as well. I will cycle Shark Typhoon for 2 though. Should we just cycle this? Let's our opponent look at our hand a bit more. We'll get them to look at this. Yeah, they're going to be able to take Wrath of God. But we still have answers. Cast Out's a good one as well. So yeah, hopefully the Shark can chip away a little bit. Okay, Oven. Okay, opponent's missing land drops. Absorb's going to be really good. Just keep smacking them. So if we let this resolve, we could just cast out it. Our opponent will get to sacrifice it to Witch's Oven, but I think I'd rather hold the Absorb for something else. We could Baffling End it, but then there's no guarantee we can hold up Absorb on the next turn. If we had our 5th land, then I would certainly just be Baffling Ending this. Okay. Yeah, if we had hit 5th land, it'd be really good, since we could have cycled, tried to hit 6th land. Since I don't think I'm going to play Teferi until we have 6 lands available. Four.Vs, I think we just want to stop this. Want to protect this Teferi. Opponent's going to scoop it up. Yeah, missing land drops. I mean, we only got to 4 lands. Okay, not really much else to consider. I feel like we want the Absorbs above the additional Censor. We could switch these around a little bit. Maybe we want the Seal Away. Difficult choices. Maybe cut like a Teferi for the Seal Away. No, let's run it like that. Okay, on the draw, and yeah, we're going to keep this. Okay, opponent has turn 1 Familiar. Let's see if they have turn 2 Oven. I think we're not going to give away that we... Well, I guess this gives away we have Cast Out. I think we're just going to cycle this Cast Out. They have turn 2 Oven? They don't. I think we are just going to get rid of this cat. Just getting rid of cat. Yeah, just getting rid of cat. Opponent has an opportunity to resolve a free drop here. Mayhem Devil, Midnight Reaper, nice. So we're going to take a little bit of a beating of this Midnight Reaper. I think we're going to stop that. It's just going to buy us a bit of time. Are we just putting ourselves in a position where we can cycle Irrigate Farmland? Cycle plus Censor. Since we have our 5th land drop, and I feel like we just need to... It's not essential that Teferi comes down. We just need to draw our answers to our opponent's things, buy ourselves a bit of time. Okay, Woe Strider. Opponent can pay for the Censor. Opponent's got a nice little card draw engine going here. Let's cycle Censor first. Maybe should have done this in response to the Woe Strider, not too punished. Okay, if we play Teferi and tick up, he's just going to die. I was taking 6 on the way in. We could play Teferi, like, tuck the Midnight Reaper. Opponent can sacrifice the Midnight Reaper in response. Opponent gets to draw a card. Otherwise, what are we stuck with? Maybe we just activate Castle Ardenvale and then play Teferi next turn. Take 6, activate Castle Ardenvale, and then we have a trump blocker. I hope that's too slow. Maybe we should just be playing Teferi and tucking there. I'm just going to take 6. This sort of screws up our plan. Since now our opponent can sacrifice the Midnight Reaper. Yeah. Opponent can sacrifice now to ping us. So I think we have to sacrifice Mayhem Devil. Try and tuck the Mayhem Devil. Our opponent can sacrifice Mayhem Devil and use it to ping the Teferi. Or they can do it this way. So yeah, the correct play probably was just Teferi last turn and try and tuck something. So opponent going to sacrifice to draw a card here and ping our token down. Then they can attack us for 6. Then we're in a pretty iffy situation. They even scry top. Oh. See what opponent's got. Okay. I'll go ball into 1. And I don't think there's anything that gets us out of it here. Yeah, because our opponent could just sacrifice now with the Woe Strider. Yeah, good game, opponent. Finish us off. Okay, I think that's going to make us 1-1. Okay, hardcore Azorius Control on the play, and yeah, we're going to keep this. Lands and spells, a little bit heavy on the lands, and our spells aren't great, but either going to catch our opponent off guard, or we're going to cycle these away. Our opponent's going to have to play around Censor, though. We could even cycle one of these early to make our opponent play around them. But I think it's worth just playing them. And Castle Vantress will secure our late game. Okay. Playing against a lot of red. Maybe the meta's already shifting to fight Azorius. So, Goblins, Mono Red, Goblins. Okay, opponent's playing around. I think we're just going to cycle this Censor. Skirt Prospector makes it a lot worse. And yeah, I think I like just play Cage. Shuts down one of our opponent's key threats. So we won Goblins earlier. Let's see if we can do it again. Okay, do you make our opponent's sacrifice because the Censor at this point can trade with the Skirt Prospector? Is that something we want to do? I mean... yeah. Our opponent played around Censor for a reason at the beginning, and it's probably because they want the Skirt Prospector. So we'll take this trade. It's either that or just dig one card deeper. So we'll hold on to this Wrath of God for a little bit. Finding one of these might have been the reason to just cycle the Censor. So when we played Goblins earlier, we didn't have Cage in the first game. We tried to find it but could not. So we'll see how it plays out this time. Shuts down Conspicuous Snoop. Matron. I think we just have to board wipe here. Otherwise, if this comes down, our creatures, it's a 2-2, so we're taking 2. We're taking, well, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think we can take 10. Okay, we're still taking 5. Not ideal, just unfortunately flooding a little bit. Need to find something relevant if we're not dead this turn. Opponent's got a few dead draws coming up and one unknown card. Oh! It was a good one as well. So opponent going to play around Settle. I guess they still kill us anyway. They can throw enough at us to not play around Settle. And Krenko next turn just going to be lethal again, even if they want to play around it. Opponent's not going to play around it. They could just send everyone apart from the Chieftain. But then I guess they don't play around spot removal. No, opponent's going to go for it. Okay, so flooded a little bit, but let's hopefully we can find something. So let's bring in the board wipe. Let's bring in the Essence Scatter. Baffling End. We didn't bring that in last time. I don't think we're going to bring it in this time. Cut some cast outs. Disdainful Stroke is good. Aether Gust is good. Need to cut one card. Can't remember we cut before. Maybe it's like a Censor. They just really don't feel that great in this matchup. Let's bring in a Disdainful Stroke for the extra Censor. I think this is how we sideboarded before. Okay, on the play, and I think we can keep this. Little bit land light, but these Shark Typhoons will hopefully dig us for something. As long as we top deck 1 or 2 lands, then Shark Typhoon gets pretty good. Opponent's gonna discover Mind Stone. So fortunately we just get to hold up Absorb here. So opponent's got. Okay, so we can't get that with Baffling End. Probably just going to absorb. And then probably cycling Shark Typhoon here. This is a threat that our opponent probably was just trying to bait out a counterspell with. It's because they're the second one, yeah. That makes sense. So let's just cycle for 2. So hopefully our opponent doesn't have a haste enabler in hand. They might do. Do we hold this back? I don't think with second Shark Typhoon we hold back. Try and close the game. Yeah, Chieftain, definitely one of the better draws our opponent could have had. Matron as well. So we're looking at a Muxus here. Yep. Opponent gets to create a ton of goblins. So we kind of have to cycle and just eat something here. Guess we'll eat the Matron. Wrath of God's quite good. Opponent gets to Muxus next turn though. So we're just hoping that our opponent like doesn't hit Haste Enabler. Do we say to our opponent like play around Sense please? What they got? They got 4, 5, 6 lands. 6 mana. So yeah, let's say to our opponent, are they going to play around Censor? Our last opponent got punished that we played Goblins against because they had the land in hand, but they decided to play it after casting the Muxus. So they're probably shocking here to play around Censor. Okay, so only a Matron, which is pretty bad for Goblins. Since we now have a turn to top deck something. Okay. So we can do this on the Matron. Doesn't even feel that good though. Just activating Castle. Herald's Horn. So it's unlikely that our opponent won't hit a ton here. Yeah, they're going to hit a ton. Just going to preserve our life total. Yeah, this is feeling rough. So we can play Teferi here, but Teferi's just going to die. I feel like we have to Teferi attack the Muxus, but our opponent's just going to have to get it back. They have a Goblin on top. I guess there's like a world in which we could survive if we tick up. Does Cage do anything now? So we could Baffling End, like the Matron Cage. I'm thinking the alternative is opponent can just play War Chief though, play all of their stuff and then just kill us that way. But we can activate Castle Ardenvale, which makes we can block the Muxus. I think we have to wait a turn. So yeah, all our opponent's Goblins have haste. Okay, that's pretty much dead then, and there's nothing we could have really done to have prevented that. Yeah, I think that's going to be game. Opponent just activates Krenko now, comes straight at us. Yeah, we'll scoop it up there. Oh, that's unfortunate. 1-1 to Goblins at the moment. Okay, game 4, and yeah, we're going to keep this. Having the flexibility to cycle the cast out, which I think we are going to do. I don't know how relevant Cage is going to be in this matchup. We're obviously not against Goblins. See a Swamp? Yeah. Forever the Fable Passage into the Swamp. Four.Vs. I wonder if there'll ever be a time our opponent doesn't have it. I think we're cycling here to try and hit land. Nope. See if our opponent like tries to screw us by taking the cast out. But I don't think you do. Maybe they do. But ton of good options. You can take Narset. Okay, like Sultai or like 4-color we're against. Are we holding up the option of Aether Gusting? I don't think so. I think we'll just get down Cage while we can. And then cycle Cast Out. They're going to hopefully be good against Azuro. But we have Baffling End as well. So looking at Aether Gusting and Nissa next turn. We need to hit land drop. Unfortunately, no land drop. I don't think we can afford to tap down, though. We're just going to have to cycle this Shark Typhoon. We've dug quite deep and haven't hit land. Yep. We're going to have to cycle the Shark Typhoon for, like, no value. Okay, land. So we have to let our opponent just have a look at our hand here. We have enough counter spells that they can take one of them and we can still stop something our opponent's doing. And if they're not running counters in their main, then they're going to struggle to resolve something anyway. So Nissa, just put this back on top. Or do we just stop it? Because if our opponent has a Four.Vs again next turn, then we're in trouble. Okay, so our opponent timed out there, but they already did their entire turn, so it's not going to matter too much. I don't know if they've like disconnected. But it looks like they're unresponsive at the moment. Hopefully they haven't disconnected. I know we've missed a few land drops, but I still feel like we're not out of it just yet. Definitely got some goodies left. Okay, looks like our opponent maybe timed out or something. Life got in the way, or I don't know, conceded the match. But yeah, let's move on to the next game. Okay, we get to go first with Azorius Control, and we're against Gigantha, so let's see how we get on. I think this hand is more than reasonable. There's an argument to cycling Cast Out on 1, but I think we're going to hold on to it. See what we're against first. So I like having the Censor and the Absorb here. Should we just stop this? So like Jund Sacrifice we're against. Play against like a sacrifice list a little bit earlier on. So we'll see how we get on this time. But I like Absorb into Cast Out into Teferi. It's quite a strong curve. Yeah, and I think I just like take this out. Just as long as we hit a land drop. I think we just cycle here trying to hit land. With triple Teferi in hand. Really do want to hit that land drop. And I think, yeah, let's just slam first Teferi. Teferi number 1 is up. Oh, Collected Company. Opponent's probably going to be able to kill the Teferi now. Yep, they certainly will. Okay, so like Jund Sacrifice, but we got a Collected Company in there as well, just for good measure. And yeah, I feel like the Sacrifice list is a little bit difficult to take down. Just Mayhem Devil is such a good threat, and the Midnight Reaper as well. Wow, opponent's got it all. Opponent's got full insurance. Suddenly, we are not in a very good position. So, what? We're taking 3, 6, 9, 10, and then a load of damage from the Cauldron Familiar as well. Are we just, like, manually casting this Shark Typhoon and hoping that that's enough? I mean, I don't think we're getting out. We could Narset, I guess, and dig for something. What could we dig for? 3 mana spell, like a Baffling End for like the Mayhem Devil or the Midnight Reaper. But I think the hope is going to be next turn Narset, make a 3/3, dig for something to get something else. But we're just taking so much damage here. Opponent had pretty good curve though, so need to watch out for the Collected Company in future. I guess it is suspicious that our opponent passed a 4 mana open. Are we just dead? Maybe. So this is 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I don't think we're dead. I think we're like almost dead, aren't we? Our opponent's like, we're pretty much dead. Our opponent's drawing like an insane amount of cards. Oh, does that just leave us dead now? 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, let's go. Next game. Opponent took us from 22, was that? 23? Wow, that was scary. So, we played against this before. I wonder if we want the Sealaways. No, let's bring them in. Let's try cutting them. Essence Scatter, maybe. Shatter. Timing Reinforcements. Cut Shark Typhoon. Cut Teferi. Cast Out doesn't feel that good. Grafdigger's Cage I still like. And I think Absorb is still good. Let's cut another Cast Out maybe. Okay, on the play. And yeah, I think we can keep this. Do we want to get down Cage on 1? Probably. Play around Four.Vs. But yeah, got to watch out for that Collected Company. Yeah, Four.Vs, pretty strong card. Okay, this Dreadhorde Butcher's going to get in a few hits. Unless we just fancy cycling the Shark Typhoon. I don't think we do. I think we want to get down here and get farmland. So we're going to go take a bit more damage here. And then next turn we could Wrath of God if we wanted to. It leaves our opponent opened to Collected Company. I think we might actually want to though. This Mayhem Devil is just such a deadly target. And it's quite the threat. Just keep information, I guess. So opponent gets to smack us for an additional 3 here. But we can't keep letting that hit us, and then they could just Collected Company. No, they got the Cauldron Familiar. Fortunately, we shut down the combo, though. Gonna put Jegantha into the hand. So opponent knows we've got Teferi here. I guess Grafdigger's Cage just shuts down Collected Companies, that's fine.
No time for a break.
So hoping to untap with this Teferi here. Opponent's just going for Jegantha. I think that's good.
That was uncalled for.
Okay, double Shark Typhoon. Let's just tick up.
Keep up the pace.
Okay. So, do you want a Shark Typhoon instant speed? We can't kill the Jegantha. I don't think we want to just play it out because then we lose our Teferi. We could activate Castle Ardenvale and then cycle Shark Typhoon if our opponent has a removal spell. Because kind of want to play around removal here. But our opponent could have like a Claim the Firstborn, but they've probably taken that out, haven't they? Since we really don't want to lose Teferi here. And then we get to cycle Shark Typhoon. If our opponent does have a removal spell. Since I think just protecting Teferi here is our primary concern. And our opponent's going to agree and just scoop it up there. So I think we're just running this back. Grafdigger's Cage is one of our probably most important threat. Do we want Disdainful Stroke? I don't think so. It hits on Collected Company, but apart from that, we have Absorbs, we have Censors. We'll just run it back. Okay, so providing our opponent doesn't have a turn 1 Four.Vs, I think this hand's good. If they have turn 1 Four.Vs, oh, no. Nice, so we get to resolve Cage. And now we're hoping that they don't have an Abrade on turn 2. But Cage hits a large proportion of our opponent's deck, and now we get to hold up Censor. Do we want to hold up Censor? I think we're going to not hold up Censor. This is risky, but I think we got to hold up the Absorb next turn. Midnight Reaper. So could have censored that. But I think we're just going to have to stop our opponent's next threat. Take a little bit of damage. We have Baffling End to this. Yeah. Something we're interested in stopping. I mean, it's going to deal us quite a bit of damage if we don't. And then we'll just cycle into Irrigate Farmland next turn. Okay, opponent's playing around all of the Censors. So I think we're going to cycle this first. See what we draw. Okay, Teferi. I think I like just absorb this and then tuck with a Midnight Reaper then. And then if opponent has a Dreadhorde Butcher, it feels really bad. I guess we could tick up, and then if our opponent has a Dreadhorde Butcher, it doesn't kill our Teferi. I guess it does. They'd have to hit it down to 1. And then they could sacrifice with Witch's Oven. But this way we get to replace the Teferi. And we get to cycle and irrigate farmland.
Won't hide from the world, and we need to move quickly.
Second Cage. Not exactly what we want to find, but I guess if our opponent has an answer to the first one, this is okay. Okay, Cauldron Familiar. Cage, very good in this matchup. Opponent's just going to put Gigantha into the hand. Okay, so I think we played that alright. Got to hope to find some answer to our opponent's board here. And Baffling End is an answer. Let's tick up. So opponent probably sacrifices the Midnight Reaper. They might even sack the Cauldron Familiar, just to draw an extra card. Yeah, I assume they're going to sacrifice Midnight Reaper as well. So we can play double Cage if we wanted to. Are we playing around like Maelstrom Pulse, maybe? In which case we just play Hallowed Fountain, untap 2 lands, and then Castle Vantress. If our opponent wants to use a Four.Vs on taking our Grafdigger's Cage instead of one of our 2 Teferis, then I think we're okay. But if our opponent has a Maelstrom Pulse, we just get like blown out completely. Okay, yeah, if our opponent's just casting Gigantha, I think we're okay. Gonna go to end step first. And then we just get to Scry here. Both of these are really good. Do we just want to keep both? Maybe just keep the... I guess they're both like really good. Just main phase, cast out. Just main phase, cast out this Gigantha. I guess we can just seal away at instant speed.
You know what? I'm not done.
So yeah, we're not going to be able to use our additional mana. A good cast out now. And then if we cast out now, we use up 2 mana. I would have 2, 4, 5. If our opponent doesn't have a hasty threat, we also get to Castle Vantress. If our opponent does have a hasty threat, we have the seal away for it. So let's just untap some lands. So yeah, I think doing that in the main phase is better there. Just so we can scry if we want to. I think Cage has just done work for us though. Opponent's just gonna pass it back. We're just gonna scry. The opponent can remove our Teferi instant speed. Oh yeah, I think Search for Azcanta is definitely something we want here. Search for Azcanta along with Teferi is just going to give us so much inevitability.
No time for a break.
We're already sort of burying our opponent here. Let's play land, and yeah, we're just going to ship it back again. Untap these. We could castle and then castle again, maybe. I don't know if we had enough mana. But I think we're okay. So, Narset, I like Narset and Aether Gust. Search for Azcanta is just going to leave him on top. Yeah, I still think we're keeping this. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how do we lose at this point, and like Bolas Citadel, but Grafdigger's Cage locks that away. I think we just need to find just counter spells now, I guess. Our Teferi's going to get to Emblem range soon, which is not something I've done in a long time. Let's take a Baffling End. So our opponent's obviously planning on drawing something. But I think it might have gone past the stage where our opponent can get back into this. Yeah, opponent can have Priest. Bottom both lands. I think we can graveyard that. We brought in an extra board wipe.
Let's skip to the good part.
Do we even want to activate the Narset here? I don't think we do. We don't need the extra cards at the moment. And if our opponent has like a Mayhem Devil, we'd rather not let our Narset just die unnecessarily. Since hopefully just Aether Gust and Absorb is just going to let us get to this Teferi ultimate. Yeah, opponent's going to scoop it up there. Understandable. I think with double cast out, we can keep this. Okay, a non-red deck. Well, I mean, it might be Gruul, but... yeah, I think we're going to try and cycle. Yeah, okay, Gruul. Forever with the red decks. Opponent gets a land off the top. I think we're just going to... do we just Baffling End this? Probably. Don't want to take unnecessary damage. Our opponent does have some scary things they could play next turn. And Robber kind of counts. So we can like stop anything our opponent can do this turn, and then next turn we can have a cast out or cycle the Shark Typhoon. Yeah, let's just censor that. See if our opponent had an untapped land that they could have played around Censor with. I think we're going to hold this cast out as well. Opponent had the untapped land. That's unfortunate. So I guess let's our opponent get it first. We're just going to try and trade off here. Opponent might have an Ember Cleave. It'd be unfortunate if they did. Stomp. Oh, Stomp. Nice. So taking a lot of damage off of this robber that I don't really want to take. Gotta let this go, I think. Just stop this. Opponent gives that haste. Opponent gives this haste. We're taking 3 this turn. We get to eat the Robber of the Rich. Fall into 5. And then... don't think we can do that. If this Irrigated Farmland was an untapped land, I think it'd be different because we could cycle for 3, eat the Robber, and then we're threatening the Gruul Spellbreaker next turn. But I think we just gotta just stop the Gruul Spellbreaker here. I don't know, it feels bad because this Robber's just been eating away at our life total. And we're definitely going to cycle Censor here. Is Teferi what we want to see? Maybe our opponent goes after the Teferi. And we get to cycle Shark Typhoon for 1 if our opponent has, like, anything. We're kind of a little bit soft to an Ember Cleave here. I say a little bit soft. We're probably just dead to an Ember Cleave. But providing our opponent doesn't have Ember Cleave, we're okay. Okay. So they're just going for the KO here on Teferi. So hopefully our opponent doesn't have a Stomp. They've only got 1 card in hand. That was all pretty fast. So yeah, Teferi's going to get to survive another turn. And then we have Cast Out up. They just Bone Crusher Giant here. They did not. I think Wrath of God's really good. And now we get to hold up Cast Out. Okay, so I think we managed to navigate that well. I think we're going to start to turn the corner here, hopefully. I don't know what... to just make a token here. Could have cycled looking for a Absorb. But I don't even know if I'd use the Absorb on the Robber. See what our opponent's got as our last card. They've got quite a few cards off of us. Okay, Primal Might. Now I think I'm happy to... I mean, we can just make a token and chump block. No, this is Cast Down. It feels like we're gonna, with the cycling of these, we get to see a ton of new cards this turn. So we should draw something relevant, and our opponent's only left with a Bone Crusher Giant. So let's cycle. And yeah, let's just pass here. So we can't Castle Vantress and then like cycle Censor into an Absorb. So just going to have to let this go. Opponent probably just goes for the Teferi here. Going straight for us. Just going to try and kill us. Probably working out that they might not be able to outgrind us in card advantage, so they're just going to try and kill us quicker. Okay, Baffling End is an answer. I'm going to put the board wipe to the bottom, I think. Just going to do some cycling here, and we're going to cycle this Censor, since Censor's pretty dead now. So let's just tick up. Yeah, we're going to play this and search Azcanta. And then just pass the turn. I guess our opponent could have, like, Collected Company. So maybe it's worth playing the Grafdigger's Cage out. I don't know if our opponent's playing Company. Maybe we should have not played the Cage, just in case. So let's put full control on, since... Are we killing this Legion War Boss? I think so. We have tons of answers still left in the list. We'll just stop it. Yeah, I think we'll keep that. And now we get to double activate Search Azcanta.
We need to move quickly.
Disdainful Stroke? Maybe board wipe? I don't know. I feel like we got this kind of locked up now. Yeah, opponent can have that. Baffling End stops that. Opponent's gonna scoop it up. Maybe just, I don't know, gave up faith there in the Bone Crusher Giant. I'm not sure why they cast it first. So, against what our opponent's doing, I think we want the Essence Scatter. I think we want the additional Shatter. Maybe Timely Reinforcements. We saw there a lot of our opponent's creatures don't have Trample. I don't think we want Disdainful Stroke. Aether Gust just seems perfect in this matchup. I don't know if we want Cages. I think we're going to cut them since we didn't see Collected Company. Might bring them back in if we need them. They trim like a Censor. I feel like we'd be making a mistake not to bring these in. If our opponent has Questing Beast, then Seal Away is not great against, nor is Baffling End. I mean, we're keeping in the cast outs. Maybe we like trim a cast out for like a Seal Away. Just as like a cheaper answer, so we can go to Teferi turn 5 and then untap with a Seal Away. Maybe this is right, or maybe we cut like another Censor to bring in the other Baffling End. Since Censor drops off quite quickly, but Baffling End is going to be relevant much later into the game. So this is easy keep. So we're trying to dodge a Burning Tree Emissary, I guess, here. Nope, opponent has it. See what they're going into. Llanowar Elves. So I believe we're just holding up the Censor here. Since we can mop these up with the Wrath of God, we're just going to look to prioritize our life total. Protect that. We'll take a bit of damage. Yeah, I think we're gonna. Yeah, because if we don't censor this, our opponent like puts this on board, and then they just don't have to contribute any more to the board. So I think we like try and make them contribute more. It also makes it look like we don't have a board wipe if we're countering that. Looks like our opponent was missing a land drop as well. So I think just allow this to resolve, and then we can just Wrath of God. And our opponent's missing land drops, so that Llanowar Elves is going to hurt even worse. That was their only green mana as well, noticeably. Opponent's just going to scoop it up. Yeah, okay. Censor into board wipe too much for an opponent missing land drops. Okay, opponent's going first, and we're going to keep this. Some early interaction if we're against a creature list. Okay, Jeskai. Yeah, we've got some early interaction and then some like late game. Okay, so against Jeskai, so this Baffling End's completely dead, but this Censor might be able to stop a turn 3 Gideon or Narset. Opponent might be on the like Jeskai extra turns. I'm gonna stop this. And then we're gonna resolve our own Narset. Opponent must have known that that was a option, that we'd have a Censor. So maybe they got a plan. Or maybe not. And I think we're just going to activate here. If our opponent kills it, they kill it. Just take the hard counter spell since we already have a Shark Typhoon. Opponent's going for their own Shark Typhoon. Could have cast down that. See if our opponent has a removal spell. If they have a removal spell, they won't be Teferiing this turn though. Opponent has the Teferi. So they just want to untap here. So we don't have an answer to Teferi, so we're probably just going to hold up Absorb and Censor. Got 3 dead cards at the moment. So effectively playing like a 4-card hand. Opponent's got their own Narset. I think we go for the Absorb. So opponent try and just tuck Narset here. They just want to keep upticking, I guess.
Let's skip to the good part.
The fact the Absorb resolved really quickly makes me think they don't have a counter spell. Which makes me think it's fine to just cast out. But I guess we just want to hold up our own counter magic, since this Teferi's really not threatening while Narset's out. Search for Azcanta is getting really close to flipping. So you might even want to cast out the Search. Not sure.
Hurry.
But this list is not running any Field of Ruins. Right, I think we gotta do something here. Are we going for Search for Azcanta or are we going to Teferi? Search for Azcanta flips next turn. Teferi ultimates the turn after. Let's cycle a Censor. See if we can get a bit more information first. I guess we're not playing around a Censor. Let's go for the Search for Azcanta. If this resolves. And then, if we draw land here, we can go Teferi into Absorb. Did not draw land. So what, we wait one more turn? I really don't want this Teferi to be countered. Our opponent like has to, if they had a counter spell, they would have used it already. But if we go like Teferi Tuck, because next turn, next turn we can't even Teferi. Okay, so they Frantic Infantry is what they had. So do we go tick up here? And then we get to hold up Censor, Disdainful Stroke. And if we find a land, we get to hold up Absorb.
Keep up the pace.
Nice, land was really good there. And then next turn we get to tuck their Teferi. Stop it ultimating. So providing we can get to our next turn without their Teferi ultimating for some reason, then I think we're okay. The opponent's going to scoop it up. I think the turn 3 play was the pivotal point there, where our opponent tried to go for the Narset and it got countered. So we want our Mystical Disputes, want our Narsets, want our Dovin's Vetoes. Disdainful Stroke feels good. Definitely cutting our board wipes. Baffling End, Aether Gust. And I feel like Grafdigger's Cage. So we got like 1 extra card we can bring in. Do we want... What do we want? Maybe a Wrath in case our opponent gets too many Sharks or they have Dream Trawlers. I don't think Grafdigger's Cage helps us. Bring in the extra Wrath. Yeah, gonna keep this. Maybe well, Censor makes the hand a lot better. I was going to say maybe we just haven't got enough early interaction. We need to mulligan, but it's very difficult to mulligan lands and spells. We're going to play like we have a Censor. Yeah, opponent, you can have that. Interesting choice, though. Opponent not playing like they have an Absorb. Hopefully the fact we're in 2 colours and our opponent's in 3 colours is going to give us the edge, because we have the castles. So we're happy with the just draw go. Going to have to allow our opponent to resolve that. I guess we should have probably just gone castle if we were planning on shocking. I just don't see any reason why we shouldn't hold up both of these. Now, conversation, do we make 1/1s or do we scry? We could put our opponent under more pressure if we just start making 1/1s. So our opponent can also make 1/1s. Do we just scry for counter magic? I guess we need to put our opponent under more pressure since they have a Search for Azcanta. Ah, we made a mistake. Should have shot this land in. I think we still go for the Teferi though. So we definitely should have shot that land in. That was a big misplay. Hopefully our opponent plays into one of these counter spells. Oh, we have Dovin's Veto now. Okay, so not as punished. We get punished by... No, even a Dream Trawler we can stop with a Disdainful Stroke. So yeah, let's just veto that. And then even if our opponent had a... Oh, that was enough. Okay. Taking down Jeskai. Howdy guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the games. If you did enjoy them, consider dropping them a like and subscribe. If you can be asked, if you can't, don't worry about it, no issue. Just as long as you enjoyed the games, that's all that matters. So Azorius Control, Brad Barclay's list, what did we think of it? I mean, I'm no expert and I'm not going to critique someone else's list, but I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. The Grafdigger's Cages in the main really hit on a lot of the meta, especially the stuff we played against. I think like most of the games we played against, it hit it in some way or another. I think every single deck we played today had red in it. We played 2 Goblins lists, Gruul, Aggro, Jeskai, and 2 like Jund Sacrifice, Rakdos Sacrifice and Jund Sacrifice. So all of our stuff had red, but Grafdigger's Cage hit on a lot of that. I loved it though. I loved it. Yeah, Azorius Control at its heart. We're just digging. We're trying to win with Teferi or castles, and yeah, all the counter spells in the world. Just pretty much 4-Vs. Really enjoyed it. Disdainful Stroke in the main. I like the 1 Search for Azcanta because when Control used to be in standard, and a lot of people are building Control at the moment, playing them 2 or 3 Search for Azcantas, it just doesn't feel necessary. You just top deck it late game. It's fine. And Shark Typhoon, as good as it's ever been. It's so good. But yeah, missing land drops is still going to be a thing, and flooding out is still going to be a thing from time to time, but irrigated farmlands and all of the cycling really does help push that along a little bit and try and avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, guys, just rambling now. I hope you guys enjoyed the games, and yeah, just until next time, stay safe.